So hello everyone, my name is Yannick. I'm a senior UX engineer at Infosim, and together with Jessica, my colleague, we want to share with you some of the usability and UX improvements we've prepared for the next release, and also what's coming next, like features that are currently in development or even in a conceptual phase. Well, before we dive in, here a quick overview of what we'll cover today. So we'll start with the revamp of our analyzer views and the new report wizard concept for the portal. And after that, we'll present you some of the new features like the cascade jobs, the resource pools, but before that, the job distribution to other StableNet servers. All right, a quick reminder here at the beginning. So you will see some mock-ups, prototypes, and demo software. So please keep in mind that everything here is conceptual and might change until the final release. So now let's start with the revamped analyzer and reporting concept. So this year we aimed to make the report wizard available in the portal, and we took this opportunity to foster also the usability of both the analyzer views and the report component settings as they refer to each other. The result is that we now have a unified layout with streamlined configurations that are easier to use. And one step forward is that the analyzer now looks like the report component settings, which make the transfer easy for you. You can see that here on the bottom, it's both the group analyzer. But next, I'm going to show you some improvements in detail. And this is the time settings first, because this is one of the topics that several users mentioned in user interviews that this is kind of cumbersome to use at the moment. So imagine our current or previous time settings here. And imagine if you want to set up the last 24 hours and you want to include also the latest measurements. Then you would have to calculate this to full seconds because you need the full seconds measured to also include the latest measurements. Then there was one other issue that some users didn't get, that the last that 2 full days does not include today, as this day is not completed yet. So that's why we simplified the time range settings by implementing a new time range component that you can see here. This is the one for the analyzer. And all these quick ranges here, they go until now, so that they also include the latest measurements. So in the background, we can say that this is just translated to full seconds. And if you have special needs, you can also use the custom option here, the last option, and then you get the familiar time range settings. For reports, we offer more quick ranges for other use cases, because there are other needs here, of course. Okay, now for the other analyzer and report improvements, I want to jump to the portal itself, because it's better to show you improvements in the software. All right, so first you can see this is the new analyzer. We cleaned up the interface. We make use of progressive disclosure, which means that we hide all the elements that are not currently important for you. Well, on the left, we still have our tag tree. We hide it by default if you have a small screen. So if I just zoom out a little, you see that the tag tree is displayed by default. But as I'm using a laptop screen now, and the tag tree is just closed here. So you can also add measurements via this new add button here. So let's do this. Select one measurement like this Juniper device here. And you can see that now, without having to click on other tabs here, you have the measurement card here on top. You see that you can change the visualization type. If you want to switch to the measurement configuration table, for instance, you could just do that. But for this presentation, let's keep with the pink chart. Below that, you see that we have the time range options here. So if you want to have 12 hours, for instance, we get this also for 7 days. Below that, we have filtered down the chart types that are available for this measurement here. So since this is not an interface measurement, you don't get the stacked in out chart type here anymore. So less confusion for you maybe. Also placed in line are the chart options. If you want to set a custom y-axis range, for instance, you could do that right here. And also the SLA markers are right there. You can create new ones here, toggle the visibility of the filters, modify them as you know it. To show you more improvements, I add another measurement. And now you can see that we use color coding to refer to which graph relates to which measurement. And you also get visual feedback now. So as we hover the measurement cards here, you see that the other measurements not being hovered are hidden in the chart. You can also toggle the visibility of the graphs here without the need to remove the measurements and then adding to the analyzer back again. If you want, you can also rearrange the order of the measurements. And well, as we have multiple measurements here now in one chart, we also have the multi-measurements chart mode. Here selected is the timeline split, but we can also go with separated charts or combined charts. Timeline split means you can adjust the time ranges for individual measurements. So let's do this for this Juniper device. We just add some seconds here for the purpose of you just seeing what I mean. And now we can see that we have two charts because you have two time ranges. If you want to get rid of this another time range, you can just remove this chip here, but you could also just apply another global time range. All right, another improvement becomes apparent if I just add even more measurements, because now you can see that we have a scroll bar here. So we don't shrink everything into the same available space. We have this scroll bar, so we can see all the charts of all the measurements in a reasonable size. So the next improvements are in our toolbar here. So we implemented a copy button, which you can use to paste all your settings in the report wizard then. And then we also have a new analyzer settings dialog. And here we added a mode to disable the auto plot. So if you go with the manual click to plot mode, you can see that we now have this plot chart button here on the bottom. And if we make some adjustments here, we get prompted that settings have been changed and we can plot the chart again. Also placed in this dialog here is the data source selection. We have other databases, and you can also choose other auto update intervals. That's it for the analyzer. Now I want to jump to the report wizard. And there's one component I want to show, and this is the group analyzer. You can see that the layout basically is the same as in the analyzer, but we made some further improvements here. So first of all, you see that we have the statistics types and reports type selection on top because we filter down all the other elements here below. So here we have a report type that will create a chart. So you get the chart options here. You can scale the graph if you like to. Then for this report, you need to set an element filter. So we can do this via our tag filter panel. And if you select other statistics types, let's say for jobs, you see that we now also have job filters because you need to set a job filter for this report type. And since a table, you also have the table filter in here, which now also resembles the design of our tag filter panel. Then I also want to show you the column settings because we improved here a lot as well. So now it's really easy to add other columns based on tag categories. You just you can search them, you can click them, and then they are added to your table. You can also rearrange the order here via drag and drop and adapt the order if you like to. All right, that's it for the group analyzer. And in report wizard, I want to show you one further improvement, and that is that we implemented like more guidance for you. So here for the recipients choice, you see that it's like a guided tour with all the options, with explanations that you get so that you really know what to click without having to look into the documentation. All right, so you see, we want to guide you, we want to make your life with the portal easier. And with that being said, I'd like to show you one of our new features. And this is the job distribution to other StableNet servers. So these are the StableNet servers. We refer to them as so-called distribution servers, and they have their new dedicated view. If you create or add other distribution servers, it's possible to go to the jobs view to select a job and then trigger the new distribute action to sync or to distribute jobs to other StableNet servers with all their dependencies like the templates, the snippets, and so on. And if you click the distribute action, then we get this new distribute job reset. You first select your distribution server, enter then the login credentials. And if we then proceed, you get like a review page. For instance, you see that the distribution server is available, the job is existent on the distribution server, and it's even identical. Unlike the template, we see that this template will be updated, and you also can review the changes here with the diff view. If you are unhappy with the changes, you can still cancel at this point of time. But here in this case, we want to distribute to the other server. And because the changes cannot be stopped or undone, we want to confirm the action here. And in a positive case like this, we see that our distribution was successful and our template has been updated. All right, and now I hand over to Jessica to show you the Cascade Jobs improvements.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jessica Schäfer, and I want to give you a quick overview of what's coming next. One implementation that is in progress and a concept. Let us start with the concept. Cascade Jobs. This view allows you to easily connect different jobs and other variables with just a few clicks and turn them into an automated workflow. I'd like to show you a first draft of real customer workflow could be built using our editor. This workflow helps to automatically find and fix errors in configuration snippets. After fixing the errors, the system reconfigures the affected devices with the corrected data. This way, system issues are solved without manual work. With the editor, it's very easy to build an automated workflow. On the right side, you see all the elements you need to create the workflow. Just like in our other editors, like the device dashboard, you can track them or add them manually to the workspace. This workflow includes a policy check job to identify possible issues in the configuration snippets. If no problems are found, the process ends. If issues are detected, the workflow continues with a mapping step, where the snippets are assigned to the correct configuration jobs. Based on the results, the system either finishes the workflow or starts a configuration job with the correct settings for the affected devices. It's very easy to make the needed settings. You just have to double-click the element or select it in the toolbar and click the Modify button. Then you can choose a mapping type and select the snippets and jobs. You can use the arrows in the same way to add the right variable and set the rules. With Cascade Jobs, we will build a very easy way to connect multiple jobs and instructions one after another to automate a workflow in a simple way. The last point on our agenda is the resource pools, which will be added from the Rich client to the portal. When we built a resource pool wizard in the portal, we listened to user wishes. We added a table that works like Excel in some ways. So now users can add large amounts of data directly in the wizard. There is no need to import files, but if data was imported, users can still change at any time. Let me show you what you can do in the next slides. For example, IP addresses can be easily increased. Just select cells with IP addresses and drag it down like in Excel. And the system knows it's an IP address and fills the cell with the next IP addresses. The table also understands simple patterns. Here I marked two cells, and when I drag down, it follows the same logic and fills the table, the cells with the next numbers. This table features help users work with big data faster and better. So that was from my side. I hope you enjoyed our little presentation about insights and a little outlook.